All right, hello, happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to our team training. Tonight's a super special night. I'm excited. For any newbies that are on, I'm Jordan Crowther. I'm your Double Diamond upline with It Works. We're gonna dive right in, and I'm interviewing one of our sideline boss babe friends, Haley Price. I have followed her Instagram and Facebook for a while. She's another double diamond distributor underneath of Jade. So like we all come from that same mothership of awesome tips, awesome advice. We truly are in like the best team, I feel like. So when Haley was asking for people to be interviewed on hers, I was like, all right, girl, let's do a trade because she's amazing. Yeah, mothership. Sorry. I'm so weird with my words, guys. So I will dive in and interview Haley. She's going to give us some like awesome top leader tricks, tips and tricks. So Haley, just take it away. I want you to, introduce yourself, tell us a tiny bit about yourself and like why you started with It Works.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to apologize for how I look. We travel full-time in an RV and it's been a long travel day, so I feel like I'm just a hot mess. But I am 26 years old. I am from East Tennessee. I joined this business when I was 21, and it was actually I think like 2 weeks after my wedding. My husband and I got married fast and young, and he had just dropped out of college and started his first like big boy job. I was still in school. It was the summer going into my senior year, and we were just young and in love and didn't think about anything else. And we got married really fast and we didn't have any money. So that's where my story starts. When we got married, we had to move into his parents' basement because we could not even afford our own place to live. And I just like lost myself in that, honestly. Like I have always been a very independent person. I got a job when I was 15 years old. Like I don't like depending on other people, and I hated not having my own space and having to depend on other people. It was just not fun. He was working all the time. I was going to school all the time. We were never seeing each other. We were trying to save every dime that we could so that we could get our own place, buy a house. And I had looked into other network marketing businesses before. I'd never done anything like it because honestly, I just didn't really see like the potential in the other businesses that I looked at. I didn't feel like it was something that I could be successful with or really make a real amount of money. And I definitely had that skepticism of just like the industry as a whole, I guess, but I'd never heard of It Works before. And I saw a girl that I used to work with posting on her Facebook about making money from her phone. And I was intrigued. And one of the reasons that I really was not into the other businesses I had looked at was because you had to have parties. And I've come out of my shell a lot with this business, but I'm introverted. I'm shy with people that I don't know. I'm not a public speaker. Like, I'm public speaking kind of right now, but like, I'm just not that person that's going to want to get in front of a room full of people and like present these products. So that really turned me off about the other businesses. But she was like, no, we don't have parties. Like we just work on our phone. And I was your typical 21-year-old college student. I was already on my phone any chance I got anyways. In between classes, what was I doing? Scrolling on Instagram, wasting time. I was super busy, but I still found those 5 to 10 minute pockets that I was looking at what everybody else was doing on social media. So I am a green personality. If you guys are like into the color personalities, I want to know all the details. I read all the instructions and follow it to a T. Like that's just how I am. So I was probably the worst potential distributor ever because I asked 1,000,001 questions. She probably learned things about the business that she didn't even know, just trying to get answers for me because I wanted to know what I was getting myself into. That's just my personality. So after asking her 1,000,000 questions for literally like 3 days straight, I was really into it. I just had a really good feeling about it. I'd never tried the products. I really didn't know anything about it, but I just had that feeling inside of me. And maybe you guys had that too. Maybe you know what I'm talking about, but it just felt like something I really wanted to try. So I told my husband about it, and he was not super into it. He was like, that sounds weird. I feel like you're going to like lose our money, especially when I told him it was $99 to get started. But he kind of was just like, okay, do whatever you want. I mean, we had been married for 2 weeks, so he wasn't going to be like a total jerk about it. But she did tell me that I would get 4 wraps. That's what it was back in the day. We got 4 wraps in our starter kit. This is really old school. We didn't have coffee or anything like that. And I didn't even know what a wrap was, but she told me I could sell those for $25 each and make my $100 back. And I was like, okay, like, give me the wraps. I don't know what they are, but I'll sell them and I'll make that money back. And I knew that worst case scenario, if I could just make that $100 back, I had nothing else to lose, so why not try it? So I went for it. And so that's me getting started. So I don't know if you want me to like go into the rest of my story or stop there.
No, you're good. I love all of that. Like, it's funny as soon as you said you're green, I was like shocked because I'm a super red. Like, I'm red followed by close blue. And I always feel like sometimes with like somebody that's green, I don't understand where their brain's coming from. But I feel like you and I click really well. So maybe that's just my perception. So that's so funny.
Well, I have red too. Like, if you show me how to make the money, I'll go out and do it. I'm a red green.
Right. And I mean, it goes to show like all the colors are super important and there's such positive things from each color. So I don't ever want to, especially my yellows. I don't want my yellows thinking that that's a bad thing. It's a great thing to be yellow. I wish I had more yellow in me. So no, that's awesome. And yeah, we have, my girl Gretchen on here, who's been in this business like a little bit longer than you. And she remembers those, that was just the wraps and you did those parties, you lugged everything. And that was something that really would have turned me off if when I joined, they were like, yep, we got to do tons of parties. I'm like, nope, I was done doing parties with my other company that I was with. I'm like, I am all about social media, like saving time. I do not want to go to stuff. So it's kind of during this pandemic, it's been a beautiful blessing that we're able to work this, through social media. So I love your story. I didn't know any of that. So that's really, really cool. Good. Okay. Well, my next question is, what advice do you have for people that are starting out in this business, like the newbies that are just getting going? If you can remember back to when you started, like what advice do you have for those people?
Yes. So I hit the ground running. When I joined this business, I felt like I had kind of all the odds stacked against me. I was young. I had no experience. I got a lot of hate from like people I went to high school with and things like that. Derek, my husband, didn't really understand it. My family told me it wasn't a good idea. So I kind of have the personality that like I want to prove people wrong. But also if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. That's another part of my personality and just who I am. So I hit the ground running. I said before, some of you all were on, my enroller actually quit, and she did not quit until after I went double diamond, but she was not like the dream enroller, not to talk bad about her at all, but she wasn't that person that was like, okay, do this and get back to me and do this, and I'm going to teach you how to do this. She kind of was just like, okay, you're signed up. Like, let me know if you need anything. And when you're new, you don't know what you need. You need something a little more hands-on. But I had decided that I was going to figure it out. So I figured out who was making money in this business, and I looked them up on YouTube. And I didn't even know that Jade was my upline. But I knew that she was making money, and she has like so many YouTube videos. So I literally just started stalking her YouTube channel. I stayed up all night. The night that I signed up, my husband was working graveyard. I stayed up all night learning as much as I possibly could because, again, I'm green. I want to know how everything works. And I watched a video that talked about Ruby and getting your shopping spree. And at the time there was a $500 Ruby bonus. So I decided I wanted that $500 Ruby bonus. And so I figured out what I needed to do completely from YouTube. I went Ruby in 55 days and earned the Ruby bonus. I signed up my husband a couple months later. I went Emerald and he went Ruby, and we got the bonus on his account. And then a couple months later, I went Diamond, and the month after that, I went Double. So I went Double within 7 months of joining, and I did that pretty much on my own, you guys. Like, I didn't have someone coming to me saying, okay, this is next. Like I said, she was pretty hands off. She would pretty much just message me like to get a copy of my chart. So I was figuring out by myself. So I say all of that to say that if you are brand new, you just have to decide that you're willing to do whatever it takes. That was truly the key for me. I made the decision very early on that I was going to be successful. I would figure it out, even though I knew nothing. Like I said, I'd never tried the products. I was complete ignorance on fire, but it got me to Double Diamond in 7 months, and that changed my entire life. I'm sitting in an RV in, I have to think about it, what state I'm in. I'm in Indiana right now because my husband and I are on a 50 states tour. We sold our house and bought this RV. And truly, you guys, that's because of the decision that I made when I joined. Even though in that moment, I had no idea that 5 years later, I would want to do this. I'd never even thought up this dream at that point. And that's just one thing that this business has done for me in the past 5 years. But I say all that to say that you just have to make the decision, and you have to take quitting off the table. So what I say to newbies is just go for it, 100% all in, and decide that you're not going to let anything stop you or let anything hold you back. And, you know, we usually join for whatever reason. Like for me, I wanted to save up so that we could buy a house, and we did get to do that. But what you don't know when you get started is that life is going to happen. There's going to be transitions. New dreams are going to come up, and you are opening doors for yourself today for so many years down the road with the choice that you make to stick with this business and go all in and be successful no matter what. And maybe your eyes are not on Ambassador. Maybe you just want to go Ruby or Diamond or whatever, but you don't know what's going to come from it. You just truly have no idea. But I can promise you that this business is a vehicle to so many amazing things. So I say go for it, never quit, figure it out, and just be all in.
All of that is so awesome, because I feel like, you know, I know a lot of these girls very personally. I know the stuff that they've gone through, and they've gotten hate from family. They've gotten hate from friends, like you were saying, your high school friends making fun of you, you know, your husband not being super supportive. We have that on our team. And the fact that you push through that, and kind of that little like hook in the side, like you just want to prove them wrong, you know, whatever it takes to push through that. Because one of the best pieces of advice I got when I started this business was, have thick skin, Jordan. Like toughen up. Like, you can't take everything that everyone says, or every kind of way that they might text you, or what, like you can't take it all personally. Just power through it. So and you can't hold on to it. You can live in that moment, but let it go, and keep that vision in your mind. And I love that you brought out that your vision can change. Your story of, like, I've been following your story of going state to state. I think that's so amazing. And that's not something that originally would be on my dream board of like 4 kids, but I've talked to people that have done that, and they're like, girl, it wasn't on my dream board either, but you know, here we are doing it. And you're getting amazing experience, the cream of the crop of every state, every lifestyle. So that's really cool. And I mean, you haven't set limits on yourself. So many times we limit our dreams because we think that's the box we're supposed to stay in. And it's not. Your lifestyle is very unconventional, but it's beautiful. Like, it's pretty amazing. Like you said, you probably never thought you'd do this. So you can thrive without an upline. Like, we all have an upline here. You know, if you don't have anybody else, guys, you have me, and you have Gretchen or you have Monica or Kalila. So we all have an upline. But if something crazy happened, I told Tara this one day, I said, if suddenly life all went out the pooper and you stopped doing this business, I would keep going. I would keep going and it wouldn't matter because I'm not doing this for my upline. I'm doing it for my family. I'm doing it for the life that I want. So it shouldn't matter if your upline is the bomb.com or they are the worst upline in the world. It does not matter, guys, because go to YouTube University like Haley did and find Jade, which that's hilarious that you did not even know she was your upline. Like you just found her videos and are like, okay, this chick's got it. And it's funny. Jade's older videos are hilarious. Like when she was blonde and like super red, like super red.
Yeah, the ones where she has blue hair, those are golden. Those are my favorite.
She's like a tiger in her videos. So she's mellowed a lot, even though she doesn't seem like she has. But yeah, anyway, like there's no excuse to not be successful. Like you cannot blame it on your upline. Like Haley's a prime example of that. She had her entire upline quit and like, look where you've come. That's amazing. So how do you feel like, even with this example of uplines that have quit and gone away and stuff like that, how do you present yourself? How do you attract good distributors and good leaders for your team? Because you have like a rock star team.
Yeah. Well, I want to say one more thing, just because you said there's some people on your team who definitely struggle with like haters and things like that. I want to just take like one more moment on that, because truly, you guys, like, it was bad. It was so bad. Like I've had my fair share of like sitting in the bathroom floor crying because people were posting horrible things. I had a girl go live and put saran wrap and chicken broth on her body to make fun of me and my wraps. Like people went to great lengths and it was hard. Like I definitely had to get tougher and get that thick skin and decide that I was not going to let those people hold me back. But I just want you to know that if you are facing that, like, do not let those people win, because not to sound like any kind of way, but like, look at me now, look at where I am. And what if I would have let those people cheat me out of that? You know, like what if I was missing out on this life and these experiences with my husband because of what those people were behind a phone or computer saying? Truly, if people take the time and energy to do that, like you're already winning, because people who are doing greater things than you don't have time to sit around and make fun of you. And that's something that I heard one time and it really stuck with me, that if anyone is being any kind of way and hating on you, like they're doing less already. You are in the game, putting yourself out there, and you're already winning. So you just keep going. And again, prove those people wrong. And I promise you, in a couple years, they're not going to have a darn thing to say because you're going to be living your best life. And what are they going to say then? So that was a total side note, but that's something that I'm passionate about, because I don't want anyone to ever be cheated out of their dream life because of a hater. Like that's important to me. So your question was, how do I get like awesome people on my team? And that is by being awesome. If you want to enroll awesome people, you have to first be awesome. You have to be the best distributor. I'm sure you guys have heard your vibe attracts your tribe. And that's so true. When you are in the moments in your business where, you know, you're just not doing your best, like you're not thriving, you're feeling funky, maybe you're still enrolling people, but those are probably not going to be like the best people you've ever enrolled. Like they might be negative or they might quit or whatever. And you may always have people quit on your team because, you know, people are people and life happens and whatever. But if you are on top of your game, if you are out there, you know, doing your task list, your 6 list, whatever you guys do, KPI every single day, if you're leading from the front, if you are being a mass enroller, if you're doing your self-development and growing yourself, you are going to attract people who also want to do that. So if you want to enroll good people, you have to be a really good distributor. You have to be consistent. You have to be positive. You have to constantly be growing. And honestly, it's that simple. That is my biggest tip for that. And everything kind of falls into place once you take care of yourself first.
That's so true. Like we've always been told that. We've all heard that phrase before. But it's actually applying it. So if you are attracting certain people, and I know that about myself too, when I've attracted maybe more negative or nitpicky DTs or ones that are kind of lethargic, I'm like, maybe I'm not giving off the vibe that I want.
Yeah.
And I really take a good self-reflection, and it's true. It's true. So this is kind of a sidebar question, because I just thought of it. I'm like, where do you feel like you find the most DTs from? Like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok? What are you doing?
So that has evolved, and it's been a mixture. When I joined this business, I made what I consider a mistake and started a new Instagram account, which looking back, I should not have done, but I did for whatever reason. I thought it was a good idea. Again, I didn't have an upline to tell me like, don't do that. So I actually built to Emerald in my first few months completely on Facebook. And back then we didn't have host to post. We had like the 3-3 rule, and we didn't have stories. You had to post on your feed literally like every hour because of the algorithm. Like, I'm not kidding. We used to post 15 times a day on our feed. So if you think like one post a day is a lot of work, it's just not. Because we posted 15 times a day. But so I was just growing my network, adding people, live posts. Then I started like building my Instagram and getting more into that. So when I went diamond and double, it was a really good mixture of both. I was getting a bunch from Facebook and a bunch from Instagram, which it was the same thing. I was messaging for distributors, so I would reach out and ask people if they were interested in extra income. Now what's working really well for me is still a mixture, but I do things a little differently. I have started using TikTok, and I had a couple TikToks go viral, and I got a lot, like hundreds of potentials, and signed a bunch of people from that. And what I want to say about that is, like, you're not going to go viral the first time that you post. You know what I mean? I posted for like several months, just random stuff, throwing in the business here and there before I got any traction on TikTok. I mean, it was crickets. Like, if I got 100 views, it was a good one. And then all of a sudden I had one blow up. And then again, I made several after that I got nothing from it. But TikTok's a little different ball game. So I tell my team, put up one TikTok a day. Like, don't spend hours on TikTok, but take 5 or 10 minutes and throw one up every day and see what comes from it. So that's been my strategy on TikTok. Like, I don't work it heavily or seriously. I just have fun with it. And then I throw in the business every couple ones. And if it takes off, cool. And if it doesn't, I spent 5 minutes on it. So who cares, you know? But I've gotten a lot of potentials from that and signed a lot of distributors from TikTok recently from those two that did go viral. But as far as like, I can't wait for a TikTok to go viral. You know, I have to get consistent distributor enrollments every single month. So what I'm consistent with is Instagram and Facebook. I do host to post on Facebook, and every time someone puts up a host to post for me, I offer them the business. I literally say, like, thank you so much. Side note, have you ever thought about what I do? Because I just looked at your page and I think you'd be awesome at it. So I get a lot of distributors from that. I am making live posts every single day. I am obviously growing my network every single day. So I have some people reach out to me. On Instagram, I message for distributors. So I literally reach out to people and say, like, hey, I think you'd be awesome at what I do, XYZ, and ask them if they are interested in the business. And then again, posting in my stories, I'm always talking about the opportunity. I post on my feed usually once at least every couple days, like a good life opportunity post, putting the business out there. So putting it out there, growing your network so that people are seeing what you're putting out there, and then asking people. You have to ask people. You will probably sign some if you're consistent with posting and networking. You will have some people come to you, but my goal is to sign 10 to 15 distributors every single month. So that means I have to go and reach out to people.
Perfect. I love that you brought all of this up. And there's a theme, guys. You've noticed that, you know, we're focusing on distributor sign-ups more so than product, than LCs, because that's where the money is. That's where the exponential money is, where the duplication comes in when you grab distributors, not so much loyal customers, because that's, yes, Bree, that's what equals the mass volume, because you're showing people how to sign up more distributors and showing them how to sign up LCs. So Thank you, Haley, for bringing that up. And I love, love, love that you offer the business opportunity to every single host to post person. I wouldn't have thought of that. I've offered it to some, but to offer it to every single person to show them, I mean, that's part of the duplication, to show them how easy it is. That's genius. You're already there. You're already in their inbox. Might as well take that extra step to send that one extra message, because who knows who the heck we're going to sign up from that. So,
and also they just posted for you. So they literally just did what we do, except they didn't get paid for it. I did. So like, it's crazy not to offer them the business because they're already willing to do part of what we do. They've just proven that by posting for you. So ask every single person.
That's perfect. All right. There's one question in here. Do you mind sharing what message that you send? So I'm guessing she means like for host to post, like what mess, or no, wait, she might mean you say you message in Instagram for distributors. What message? Yeah, Marika, the DT message.
So they're really pretty similar, and I keep them super simple. So when they post for me, I say, thanks, I got you entered. Side note, have you ever thought about what I do? I was just looking at your page and I think you'd be amazing at it. And when I reach out on Instagram, these are people that I'm, interacting with. So they're probably already seeing my posts, but I message and I just say, hey girl, I was looking at your page, or hey name, whatever you want to say, whatever sounds like you. If you don't say, hey girl, don't say, hey girl, because it won't feel right. But I literally just say, I was looking at your page. I think you'd be awesome at what I do. Are you interested in making extra income? Or you can say, have you thought about what I do? Have you thought about making money from your phone? Anything like that. Literally just keeping it so simple and just throwing in the question, like, are you open to hearing more about what I do? However you want to say it. But I just say, like, have you ever thought about what I do? Or are you interested in making extra income from your phone? And most people say yes. Like, who's not interested in making extra income? Now, I do look at people's profiles. Like, if somebody is posting like, I don't know, like drugs and crazy things, like I'm probably not going to offer them the business because, like we do have like a brand that we're putting out there. So if it's not necessarily in alignment with that, like some people are just crazy on social media, you know what I mean? They post really weird things. So I don't necessarily send this to every single person in the entire world. But I mean, if it's a girl that's 18 to 40 probably. And she's on social media, like she's posting, which not everyone posts every day, but if she's posted in the last month and, she looks pretty good and normal, I'm going to send it to her, because if you're a woman and you're over 18, like you would be good at what I do. I think you would be amazing at it. I see potential in every single person. So it's just as simple as that, telling them they'd be awesome at it and asking if I can give more info.
That's great. And the worst thing that can happen is them say no, like, yep. No, I'm not interested in that. But like you were saying, a lot of people do say yes. And I don't know if you all caught that, what Haley was saying, but they're people she already interacts with. They're already people that she kind of has a rapport with on social media. So that's why interacting is so important. That's why I push myself to interact and comment, even on those days that I'm like, I don't feel like commenting on people's posts. I do it anyway, because people, they crave that relationship. They crave that connection with other people. It's just built into us. That's how we were created. So we don't cold message. We're not just finding random people. We're like, oh, they're pretty. They have a cool, no, like we have already built a relationship with that person. And when I say relationship, I'm not saying you've poured in years of your life and have like these long drawn out things. No, you've set up like a back and forth, and you've created some kind of foundation with that person, and that they're following you. You see them in your stories, you see them comment on your posts every once in a while. So, that's what Haley's saying. She's reaching out to people she already has that connection with on Facebook or on Instagram. That's where she's sending this message, and just saying, hey, like you take really good pictures, or hey, like you post really often, or hey, you have really good connections with people. Like you pinpoint what they have that could be good for this business and tell them that that's why they could be. So it's not going to be like a copy and paste message for every single person. but you pick out what they're good at and you tell them that, and that's why they'd be good at this. So thank you, Haley. And you put that.
Yeah, like this message is not going to like a 70-year-old woman who posted a picture of her cat in 2017 and that was her last post. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just being completely mindless with it. So it is people, like I said in the chat, people who are following me. And if it's a girl who posts occasionally, she's over 18, like that's a good candidate. So I would send that to anyone like that.
Awesome. And I know we're running a little bit over. My last question for you, Haley, is how do you grow your network? How do you decide like how to grow, your social media platform?
So when I first started, I would just go to women I was already friends with and go to their friends list and add the women. I don't add men. And of course you want it to be people who are over 18 who like speak English. You don't want it to be somebody like in a country we're not open in. Now on Facebook, it's host to post. I'm built to my max 5,000 friends. So I have to delete people every single day just to be able to add the people who are commenting on the host to post that I get up that day. So, I mean, we didn't have host to post when I joined, so I had to do it the way that I just said. But now host to post, you guys, like if you're brand new, go do host to post because it covers pretty much all the bases except the follow-up. Like the posts are getting up, it's on other people's feeds, but they're posting for you. You're reaching out to people to get the host to post up. You're reaching out to the people who comment, and then you're adding all the people who comment. So that's growing your network like crazy on Facebook. Host to post is just the way to go. On Instagram, it takes a little more attention. First of all, this is a question I get all the time. I recommend being on private on Instagram until you get to 10,000 followers because I tested it both ways and I have with my girls as well. And I feel like you grow so much faster if you're private. I'm over 10,000 now, so I'm public. So I use like hashtags and I'm always tagging my location. So I grow in that way now. But if you're not on that level yet, like if you're on a little bit smaller level, I recommend just going and following people. When I joined, I would follow, a few hundred people a day. And I know that Instagram has limits, so you kind of have to play around with it and see like what you can do per day or per hour, or however it is. But following people, they're naturally going to be like, who is that? And they're going to come look at you. And if you're on private, they're going to follow you to figure out who this girl is that just followed them that they don't know. So I recommend looking for people based on interests that you have. So I was in college when I started, so I would use the location feature to search colleges in different states. And then now I'm married. I don't have kids, but I'm like a fur mom and I travel. So I search hashtags for those things. So figure out like, how are you going to find people that you have things in common with? And I recommend using hashtags and locations to find people that way. And then just following people and interacting with people. Someone is more likely to follow you back if you're liking and commenting and trying to build that relationship. And I mean, it's kind of tedious. I'm not going to lie. Like you have to put a lot of effort in, but you have to grow. Like this is network marketing. So you have to network so that you have someone to market to. So you have to be following and interacting with people to grow that way. And then once you get bigger, you can go public and people will find you through hashtags and things like that. But the last tip I want to give is to try to keep your numbers even, because if you're following 7,000 people and you have 70 followers, like that just looks creepy, just to be honest. So people are not going to want to follow you back because it just looks weird, like I noticed that. So I know other people do. So you want to give it a few days, however you want your system to be. Some people do it like once a week or whatever, but at some point you want to unfollow the people who did not follow you back because you're following all these people. Some of them will follow you, some of them will not. So unfollow the ones who don't so that you can keep your numbers even. And also you can only follow 7,500 people on Instagram. So to continue to do it, you at some point are going to have to be unfollowing other people. So I hope that that makes sense and wasn't confusing.
No, that totally makes sense. I preach that all the time because I've gotten into that hole and I've gotten new distributors that have been in that hole too. And it takes a while to get out of it, but it's worth it. It's like worth the long-term benefits. Like you said, you can only follow 7,500. So You need to slowly chip away at it. And I know we don't have those easy apps that we can use, those third-party apps. You got to do it manually. There's no way around it. But like you said, if I see an account that they are following way more people than follow them back, I'm like, there's no value to this account. Like, obviously there's something wrong. Like, nobody wants to see what they have to see. And they're probably following like celebrities or companies or things like that, or just like following every person. And it's a turnoff totally. So I always recommend people to cut that list down, like chip away at it every day. And it's gonna so be worth your following. So I loved all of that. It was so fantastic. It was so specific. And that's what we need. We need specific things to give us, good tips, good advice. So I appreciate you so much, Haley. Thank you so much for being on tonight. I love it.
Yeah,
Does
absolutely.
anybody have questions? Yeah, no, this was fun. I'm so glad you put up that post in the Diamond Nation. Does anybody have any questions they want to unmute themselves and ask Haley? And if you don't, that's okay. Let me check the chat.
Can I just ask one question?
Of course, Gretchen, darling.
I just wanted to know her method, as like she got all of these potentials on YouTube. What does she do next? Do you send them opportunity videos? Do you get them on the phone? Like, what have you found the best way to kind of go from there?
So on TikTok, I will either put my phone number and say like text TikTok to blah, blah, blah. Or I do the influencer application with Google Forms. So I have that in the link in my bio. So sometimes the call to action will be to just fill that out. So if they fill out my influencer application, I reach out to them and say, hey, it's Haley. I got your influencer application. Can I give you more info? And then I go into my normal conversation. I don't send opportunity videos. I like to voice message people because I want those people to connect with me because they're joining me. And I'm not going to join some stranger that like sends me a couple scripts or sends me a video of someone else. More than likely, like if you're new, like utilize your tools, if you have an opportunity video from your upline, absolutely. But I really encourage voice messaging, even if you're like reading the script, like if you're new and you like couldn't think of what to say about the business off the top of your head, even if you read it, but you're like voice messaging so that they can hear you, that's going to be better and they're going to feel like they can connect with you. So I do a lot of voice messaging. And then if they text me, it's pretty much the same thing. I just say like, okay, like, can I tell you more about what I do? Thanks for reaching out. So whichever call to action they take, whether they text me or fill out the application, I do have some like scripts for certain things that I'll send throughout the conversation, but it's a lot of voice messaging and it may take like a little extra time than just copying and pasting or text replacement a script. But I think there's so much more value in it. I think you're gonna sign more people if they can hear you and connect with you. Also, kind of going back into growing my network, but also for this, I try to get people on different platforms. So if they reach out to me from TikTok, I want to drive them to like my Facebook or my Instagram because I'm more like intimate there. Like I share my story on a deeper level on those platforms versus TikTok is like at most a 60-second video. So it's just like the highlights, but on my Facebook and Instagram, that's where people are really going to get to know me and see like my extended story that I type out. And I think that's important with TikTok. I think that's really important because they're kind of just reaching out on a whim. They don't really know anything about you. They just saw this video pop up and it intrigued them. Like, yeah, I'm interested in extra money. But I feel like people can just be real sketched out real easy if you don't like immediately pull them in and form that deeper connection. So I really try to focus on that so that they can really get to know who I am and hear my excitement and things like that. So I hope that that answers your question.
Wow. Yeah. She gave the thumbs up. Those are amazing tips. Again, like I said, like very specific tips because we're all we have some TikTok heroes on this team. Like, I'm pretty impressed with them. I am not one of them, but we have some amazing TikTokers on here. And yeah, that was a good question. Like, how do you drive those people into a more intimate setting?
Mhm.
And I never thought of that. I utilize my opportunity videos quite often, but I'm going to start trying that. I'm going to start pushing more of the voice messaging and making it, like you said, more intimate, more that one-on-one, because yeah, people want to hear our voice, our story, why we want to join or why we want them to join, what we can offer them. They don't want to hear, you know, maybe somebody they've never met talking in the background, talking in a video. So I love that. Thank you so much, Haley. Like, that was so cool. So let me check the chat one more time. Yep, I think we got all of our questions. So thank you, everybody, for hopping on. I'm going to end the recording now. Let me see if I can do that. And then I'm going to, anybody that wants to stay on, Megan is hosting our work Zoom. So you can just stay on this number. I'm going to make her the host. But thank you so much, Haley, for joining us tonight. I loved hearing your story so much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you, Haley.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jordan, you didn't end the
Bye.
record. Oh, yeah, you did. Never mind. Now you did.
I don't know if I did. I think Mariko might have stepped in and did that
Oh, wait,
for me.
it still says recording now. Yeah, now it still says recording.
It won't let me. Mariko, can you end
Are you the
it?
host still, or is someone else the
She,
host?
you know, she said I was the host. And it says
That's weird.
me and technology. Yeah, it doesn't give me the option to end the recording.